In October 2022, I filed a parliamentary question on whether the current slate of national public holidays was a holdover from the colonial-era practice of allocating 2 holidays per ethnic group. The response from the Ministry of Manpower was that it was the result of a decision made in 1968 to reduce the number of days of holidays to stay competitive. He explained that each religious group was asked to give up a holiday each. As a result, Muslims gave up the Prophet Muhammad's birthday, Christians relinquished Easter Monday, while Hindus chose Deepavali over Thaipusam. His response reiterated the government's long-standing position that the existing configuration of holidays was appropriate and that increasing them would indulge calls for a host of additional holidays, such as Lao Tzu's birthday or Women's Day. However, this response glosses over the important historical context for how these holidays came about in the first place. During the colonial period, the Strait Settlements, of which Singapore was a part, allocated public holidays by ethnic group. This was initially limited to the Chinese New Year, Hari Raya Puasa, and Thaipusam, but following a petition by the Malay and Indian communities to the then Legislative Council, Hari Raya Haji and Deepavali were added. This means that if we accept how holidays were historically granted by ethnic group, then this original distribution of 2 per group would have been fair. But holidays were added and removed thereafter due to self-government, our merger with Malaysia, and independence, such that 16 public holidays in 1967 were no longer equally distributed. Hari Raya Puasa was observed over 2 days, while Hari Raya Haji and the Prophet's birthday were also holidays. Easter weekend included Friday and Monday, alongside Christmas. Hence, when called to give up a holiday, the Indian community had to do so with a smaller number to begin with. And what may be worse is that the responses by the government appear to suggest that the holidays that have been gazetted were chosen not so much for their ethnic linkages, but for their religious significance. If so, then the allocation of 2 per religion, Hari Raya Haji and Puasa, Good Friday and Christmas, and the 2 days of Chinese New Year and Deepavali and Vesak Day may, on its face, seem fair. Except, of course, Vesak Day, despite being the birthday of Indian prince and ascetic sage Siddhartha Gautama, is hardly celebrated by the local Indian community in Singapore at all, but more by Buddhists. In contrast, Thaipusam, despite its official non-recognition as a holiday, remains a spiritually significant and joyous affair for Hindus here. In the debate surrounding the Holidays Amendment Bill in 1968, which rescinded Thaipusam as a holiday, then Minister for Law and Economic Development, E.W. Barker, went as far as to suggest, and I quote, that if our island prospers, I'm sure the government will ask me to come back here, and on that day, it will be my pleasure to move amendments to increase the number of holidays, end quote. Between 1968 and today, our GDP per capita has grown from a little more than $2,100 to more than $127,000, close to a 60-fold increase. It is impossible to claim that we have not prospered. It is time to call in that promise made close to 6 decades ago and reinstate Thaipusam as a national holiday.